I could have sworn I read the last king in the north was Torrhen Stark, who bent the knee to my ancestor Aegon Targaryen.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Game of Thrones Season 8 Fire and Blood book Easter eggs. There's a whole bunch of references to stuff that's happening in present day. If you haven't read it yet, it's a big history book that they just published. There's a giveaway going on for that right now. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on the video. Starting with number 10, Aegon Targaryen, the Conqueror, conquered the Seven Kingdoms not out of a desire for power, but to organize the realm. Rally the Realm was the theme of Season 7 when Jon Snow was riding around rallying the realm. George R. R. Martin suggests in recent interviews that Aegon the Conqueror foresaw the current conflict with the White Walkers and knew that the only solution was to unite the Seven Kingdoms. So it's just another way to tie him to Jon Snow in present day. Also, Rhaegar Targaryen named Jon Snow Aegon after Aegon the Conqueror. It's no coincidence. Rhaegar was obsessed with prophecy, so he saw Jon Snow as the culmination of a song of ice and fire, the prince who was promised, and wanted to evoke that grand destiny by naming him after the most famous Targaryen in history. 9. This is a fun one. The rise of Maegor the Cruel and the rise of Cersei Lannister. So Maegor the Cruel was Aegon the Conqueror's younger son. His older son succeeded him on the throne. He was a weak king. The realm descended into chaos. They were heading into a War of the Five Kings situation with petty lords trying to take advantage of all the indecisiveness on the throne. There was a faith militant uprising, and at the time, Maegor was kind of the Stannis Baratheon of the family. So he took advantage of his brother's death to seize the throne, jumping the line of succession over his brother's heirs who had a stronger claim on the throne, and ruled with an iron fist. He was not a popular king. So he put down the faith militant uprising the same way that Cersei put down her faith militant uprising. He blew up the Great Sept of the day, and on its site where it stood, he built the Dragon Pit. Number 8, Maegor the Cruel in Death by Iron Throne. This is one of my favorite deaths in the book. So he was a King Henry VIII type person when it came to his wives. He wanted an heir badly. None of them that he married under really crazy circumstances could give him a son. Some of them he tortured and killed with his ancestral Valyrian blade, Blackfire. Some of them were killed by one of the other wives, so they all met very terrible ends. When the Lords of the Realm finally started to rebel and turn against Maegor, Robert's Rebellion style, in favor of his nephew Jaehaerys, who was the rightful heir to the throne, Maegor's Kingsguard left him alone briefly in the throne room, sitting on the Iron Throne by himself. All was well. They returned a little while later to find him impaled on the Iron Throne under mysterious circumstances, as if the throne itself killed him. Now, it's probably an assassin that took him down hired by one of the opposition, or a faceless person, but it actually became a rumor that the Iron Throne itself killed him, rejected him, so to speak. There's a long-standing myth that the Iron Throne will actually hurt people that aren't meant to sit on it. Like, people get cut just because they sit on it weird and there are sharp blades all over the place. Of course you're going to get cut a little bit. But getting to the Cersei of it all, Maegor and Cersei are two people that sacrificed their families, killing some of their family members themselves to obtain the Iron Throne. Cersei sacrificing her children like Tommen. So would it not be poetic for Cersei to die while sitting on the Iron Throne, making it seem like the throne itself killed her, the thing that she had sacrificed so much to obtain? Really what I'm hoping for is that Arya kills her while she's sitting on the Iron Throne, so you can get the trifecta. Hopefully she'll be wearing Jaime's face, but that's a bit of a long shot, if they really want to reach for the Valonqar. They've made no promise that they will do Valonqar on the TV show, but I do believe that Arya will cross Cersei's name off her list. 7, this is actually a pretty cool one. The true origin of Daenerys' dragon eggs is closer to home than you think. So Jaehaerys succeeded Maegor the Cruel to the throne. He became Jaehaerys I. He was a great king. Everybody loved him. One of his Aunt Rhaena's female companions, Alyssa Farman, had been living on Dragonstone for a long time and gotten sick of it. She wanted to escape. She stole 3 dragon eggs and used them to finance her escape to the east. She sold them to the Sea Lord of Braavos at the time. When King Jaehaerys found out, he wasn't that concerned. He says, "Some spicemonger in Pentos will find himself possessed of 3 very costly stones. Elsewise, the birth of 3 young dragons is not a thing that can be easily kept secret. Whoever has them will want to crow." So here's the really cool Easter egg that ties that all together. Illyrio is a spicemonger from Pentos who came into possession of Daenerys' 3 dragon eggs. He claims that he got them from the Port of Asshai in the Shadowlands where Melisandre comes from, but it's pretty clear that Martin is implying that Daenerys' dragon eggs came from Dragonstone. Now, because there were a lot of dragons alive at that time, it's not clear which dragon exactly laid those 3 specific eggs. She just said that she stole 3 eggs. There was Vermithor, Silverwing, Dreamfire, and Balerion the Black Dread. Vermithor and Dreamfire did become a mated pair later in life, so you could say that Dreamfire maybe laid those eggs, but the books don't take it that far. 6. This is actually kind of a funny one. Martin named a bunch of Tullys after Sesame Street characters. So this is how his passage goes. Then as now, the River Lords were a fractious, quarrelsome lot. Kermit Tully, Lord of Riverrun, was their liege lord, and nominally commander of their host. But it must be remembered that his lordship was but 19 years of age, and green as summer grass. Green like Kermit, haha, see what he did there. His brother, Oscar, as in Oscar the Grouch, who had slain 3 men during the muddy mess, had been knighted on the battlefield afterward, was still greener and cursed with the sort of prickly pride so common in second sons. So Kermit the Frog, Tully's younger brother, was Oscar the Grouch. A lot of these come from the reign of Jaehaerys I. So 5. Later in their reign, Jaehaerys' wife, Queen Alysanne, tried to fly her dragons north of the wall. The magic there prevented the dragons from crossing the barrier. She had just gone to inspect the Night's Watch and see what was going on north of the wall, so she didn't have anything special in mind. She wasn't trying to look for White Walkers or anything like that. But every time she tried to fly her dragons north of the wall, they would veer away because Martin is implying that the magic that protects them from the White Walkers and keeps them from crossing south also works in reverse, keeping the dragons, fire-made flesh, from crossing in the opposite direction. Also, tangentially implying that Season 7, Episode 6, when Daenerys flies her dragons north of the wall, they're never going to do that in the books, just because the magic would prevent that from being possible. The only way for that to happen would be for the White Walkers to finally bring the wall down, which they eventually will in the books, albeit as Martin is implying, with something else like the Horn of Winter instead of trying to use a dragon. Before, everybody's heard the theory that Tyrion is secretly a Targaryen, son of the Mad King, who may have taken advantage of Joanna Lannister, who he was known to secretly covet. So Jaehaerys I and his wife, Queen Alysanne's oldest daughter, Alyssa Targaryen, was born with features almost exactly like Tyrion's and similar personality traits. She and Tyrion were both born with mismatched eyes, her ears were too big for her head, her smile was lopsided, and when she was really young, her nose was broken very badly and healed crooked, just a reference to Tyrion losing part of his nose. She also had a very healthy sexual appetite, just like Tyrion. So it's not Martin saying that yes, Tyrion is a Targaryen, but it is him kind of winking at that. I don't necessarily believe that theory just because it throws a lot of the character development between him and Tywin under the bus. It makes their relationship a lot more poignant if he's truly his son, like you're my son and I reject you, as opposed to him hating Tyrion because he really is someone else's son. But 3, there's a Tower of Joy reference, so Aemon Targaryen, who was alive during the Dance of the Dragons, ran off with his own version of Lyanna Stark to their version of the Tower of Joy in a really twisted version of events. You'll see where this is going. The tower that they ran away to was Harrenhal, which is cursed, so the minute you know that somebody's running away to Harrenhal, you know they're going to meet a really bad end. His secret bride eventually gave birth to a son, just like Rhaegar and Lyanna did, but the other big twist was that when the baby was born, the woman demanded that everyone bow down to the babe as if he was the prince who was promised, this grand destiny in front of him. So she kind of went mad, and later they referred to her as the Witch Queen of Harrenhal. 2, we just talked about the alternate version of events where the White Walkers make it south of the wall. Fire and Blood does reference Valyrian horns like the Horn of Winter and Dragonbinder. They get a name drop when King Jaehaerys is thinking about one of his sons who's just been killed. The passage reads, "The old king never dreamed that Aemon's death in 92 AC would be like the hell horns of Valyrian legend, bringing death and destruction down on all those who heard their sound." So remember, Euron has Dragonbinder in the books, but the Horn of Winter is probably going to be what brings down the wall in Winds of Winter. But we'll have to wait a while to find out about that. In 1, on his big book tour, George R. R. Martin revealed more details about the prequel series. He said that it's actually going to take place 5,000 years before events in present day, squashing the timeline quite a bit. And he went on to say that at that time, Valyrians are just now discovering dragons roosting in the 14 Flames Peninsula, making it sound like they're taking their time a little bit more with dragons on the prequel series than they did on the main series. You saw Daenerys hatch her dragons at the end of Season 1, but if Valyrians are just now discovering dragons in the 14 Flames as of the beginning of the prequel series, maybe we'll get some teaser for that at the end of Season 1, but it sounds like it's just them hedging their bets, trying to tell you that there won't be dragons littering the sky everywhere, but we'll also probably get to witness part of the rise of the Valyrian freehold while we're seeing all the other stuff happening in Westeros during this period. Let me know what your favorite Easter egg from the book is. If I didn't mention it in the video, there are hundreds and hundreds of references, so this just barely scratches the surface. Congratulations to the giveaway winner from my last big video, Brian Dempsey. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your details. Click here for that new Game of Thrones Season 8 trailer, and click here for my Season 8 Episode 1 preview. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.